Alright, hey y'all. So, a few days ago I did a rather poorly made guide for the Guardian Druid Mage Tower, and I'm here on a much better computer to give you a better guide. So, first off I'm gonna be talking about gear, and then I'm gonna go into my talents, and then I'm gonna talk about consumables. And then after all that, I'm gonna go through a clip that I made a few minutes ago, a very poorly executed Kruul kill, but regardless, it was a Kruul kill. So let's just jump right into it. So for gear, I used a mixture between Legion raid gear with sockets and some crafted PvP gear off the auction house, and some, Warlords and Pandaria raid stuff. So when we're talking about gear, I think I chose like the second best option, which would be Legion gear with sockets. There is actually a slightly better option, which is going to be time walking gear. I didn't want to make any of my friends sit through Burning Crusade dungeons for hours with me, so I opted for, the more solo player friendly route. While that is a very good, option for gear, and I have seen quite a few people with, fully socketed Burning Crusade item level 50 time walking gear, I found this to be a little bit easier, while it does rely on RNG to get you, gear with procs with the sockets. I found this to be a little bit more solo friendly, which I think the majority of WoW is solo players. So let's just go right into it. So for my hat, I used the helmet from the monk set in the Nighthold. It had versatility and it had a socket, and that was really big for me. So I put a Kraken's Eye of Agility in there, which is a unique equipped gem, so you can only equip one, but 6 is a pretty high number comparing to the rest of my gear with 3. For my necklace, I bought this off the auction house. It had a lot of versatility. It was item level 50, and it had a socket, most importantly, so I put the Leviathan's Eye of Agility in there, another unique equipped gem, but 7 agility is pretty nice, and I put Mark of the Hidden Satyr on there. Mark of the Hidden Satyr does a little bit of damage, but, this is not a Kruul kill, this is just my last try. But, it does a little bit of damage. Little bits of damage, all these little bits do add up and make your life a little bit easier. So, for my shoulders, I couldn't get a shoulder piece from a Legion raid to proc with a socket, so I just went with the Mists of Pandaria raid Siege of Orgrimmar shoulders. They had 2 sockets, they had a socket bonus, they were below item level 50, so, that was pretty nice. I put the Greater Tiger Claw enchant on here, a little bit pricey, but, 5 agility and 2 crit is pretty nice. Put a 3 agility gem in there, put a Nightmare Tear, which is a +4 all stats, and it had a socket bonus. For my cloak, I just bought this off the auction house. It had versatility. I put a Leech enchant from Shadowlands on there. For my chest, I used the Mists of Pandaria crafted Gladiator chest. It had a versatility socket bonus, and it was, had 2 sockets, which is really nice. It wasn't too expensive in the auction house. I think it says I bought it for 5k. I put a lot of money into, buying all this gear so I can make it a bit easier on other people so they know what I didn't know. I put a Eternal Skirmish enchant on there, just for a little bit of extra damage. That's a Shadowlands enchant. For my bracers, a lot of guides on YouTube said to use the bracers of the Dream Grove because they had verse, they're item level 50, and they had a socket, which is absolutely ideal. I did put a Saber's Eye of Agility, another unique equipped gem, and you can put the old world enchants on things that are 50 or below, or in some cases the Mark of the Hidden Satyr is item level 60 or below, but I did put an agility, old world agility enchant on these as well. Now, for my gloves, I went with these questing gloves. If you do the Legion intro quest and keep following that quest, you will eventually get these. It has to do with the Karazhan quests. I'm sure you can look this up on Wowhead because that's what I did. They do have a very unique equip effect, which is a chance to inflict an arcane blasphemy damage demon. And, you know, if you're watching this guide, you probably know that the High Lord Kruul challenge is entirely demons, so every time you damage someone in there, you get a chance to proc this, which is really nice. And you can put an Old World Agility enchant on there as well. Now for my belt, I got a belt to proc with a socket from the Emerald Nightmare, I think. And I put a extra socket on there with the Living Steel belt buckle. I put 3 agility gems, plus 3 agility gems in there, 2 of them. And for my pants, I had a Nighthold pants proc with a socket. They had a lot of versatility, which was like really good. I put a 3 agility gem in there. The 3 agility gems were the cheapest on my server without going to like the 1 or 2 agility, so I just went with these. I did put a Shadow Leather leg armor enchant on here, which can be a bit pricey depending on your realm, which is 6 agility and 3 crit, which is really, really nice. Now for my boots, I had to do Raid Finder for these. They had a socket. Pretty nice. I did put a Shadowlands agility enchant on there just because it was the cheapest. I was running out of gold at this point, honestly. For my rings, I just bought these off the auction house. They had a socket, they had verse. What else could you want? So I put the Shadowlands versatility enchant on both, and I put a Old World versatility gem in both as well. And for trinkets, there's a lot of really great options. For example, I went with the Blood Spattered Scale, wherever it is in here. Oh, here it is. I went with the Blood Spattered Scale on my initial Kruul kill, and I only used it once. It is a bit of a no crap button, which is nice, but I actually would recommend the Unblinking Gaze of Seath over that, which is a one less button you have to press, and it does an insane amount of damage. As you can see, this attempt, which I didn't kill Kruul on, did 20% of my damage, which is ridiculous for a trinket. So I definitely recommend this. Although it is intellect, it is the equip effect that we're looking at. Now for the other one, a lot of guides are going to say this, and for good reason. It's a wonderful trinket, gives you increased leech, and it does a lot of damage. It's called Infested Ground. Oh, I didn't use it on that one. Well, let me see if I can pull up my actual Kruul kill here. This might have been it. Regardless, Infested Ground was a lot of damage. So this is really good. Another thing to note is this trinket can actually proc with a socket, which is pretty crazy. This is from Emerald Nightmare, any difficulty, including LFR. This is from Hellfire Citadel, any difficulty except LFR. So for weapons, there's a lot of really great options. There's that polearm from Sanctum for Domination. It's called Destiny's Call or something. But I just went with the Claws of Ursoc because you could put 2 different enchants and 2 Shadow Core oil, or whatever kind of oils, embalmer's oil. I just went with Shadow Core for a little bit of extra damage. So I went with Force Multiplier. Don't quite remember what exactly this does. I'm pretty sure it's a primary stat versatility, something really good. A lot of guides told me to get this, and it's worked, so definitely recommend. Lightless Force, all around good damage proc enchant from Shadowlands. If your Claws of Ursoc are below item level 50, which mine were not, you can put a Dancing Steel enchant, which is another really great option. Mine weren't. You could also use the Fangs of Ashamain instead, but I just went with Claws. So for talents, I went with the typical Mage Tower build, which is Brambles over Blood Frenzy, just for that little bit of extra healing. As you can see, it did a little bit of healing for me, and it does a tiny bit of damage as well. It did a little bit more than Star Surge and Arcane Blast. As you can see, Mark of the Hidden Satyr did proc quite a bit during that attempt. Really good, cushion, if you will. The 25 row just went with Wild Charge, just, to get back on the platform with your Bear Form Charge, or, you can, I've seen people on YouTube do a little Moonkin thing where, they're getting, oh shit, I'm flying off, and they turn around and Wild Charge backwards onto the platform. I have seen that done. I have seen that executed quite well a few times on YouTube. So, yeah, really good. Balance Affinity, absolutely required, I think, if you want to speed through phase 1 as fast as possible for the little amount of infernals. I think one attempt, I didn't kill Kruul, but I did get only one infernal up, just because I was, blasting him with Balance Affinity and Heart of the Wild so much. Typhoon is also really good if your Skull Bash is on cooldown, your Interrupt. Typhoon can interrupt both Kruul and Variss. I believe I interrupted Kruul with Typhoon once, or I might have hit an orb, but I know for absolutely certain you can interrupt Variss with Typhoon. So the 35 Heart of the Wild, Mighty Bash is okay also if, your interrupt is down for a Twisted Reflection, or you're in a delay Annihilate. Heart of the Wild just, it's a flat-out damage increase. You're only really going to use it in phase 1 because it's probably not going to be up in phase 2, plus you're going to be in bear form in phase 2. So Heart of the Wild, really good for, mowing down bears and getting to phase 2 as fast as possible. For the 40 row, I picked Galactic Guardian because Moonfire did a bunch of my damage, and a lot of that was the Galactic Guardian proc. It does a 300% increased damage when you use the proc, which is really, 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 really good. I've seen people use Incarn. I didn't. I thought Berserk was just fine because, the extra damage was what I was looking for rather than survivability, because phase 2 is a DPS race. For 45 row, I just picked Survival of the Fittest. More bark skins in there, more survival instincts. A lot of people picked Earth Warden just for the auto attack damage reduction, but I just used regrowth when I was taking damage. Rend and Tear, absolute, hands down, every single content you're doing, pick this. If you're really good with Pulverize, maybe. I've seen people say that on YouTube. I don't like Pulverize. It just, reduces your stacks of Thrash, and Rend and Tear is so much better. Just, damage increase, damage reduction from your target. All around really good. So, for consumables, I just used, Potions of Unbridled Fury. I used these drums. It does say I can't use them, but you do get scaled down to level 45 in the Mage Tower, so any drum will work regardless of the level requirement. I just picked the cheapest one. Goblin Gliders are really good, kind of as a no crap. You're in Moonkin form, you get knocked off from an Ire and Infernal, you just, fly back on there with this. For healing potions, I used Abyssal Healing Potions. These are from Battle for Azeroth. According to Wowhead, these are the second best Mage Tower healing potions, the first one being the Legion healing potions, which are called Astral Healing Potions. They are ridiculously expensive on my server, so I just picked the second best. For War Scrolls, you can get these. They're not, mandatory because, they are pretty expensive. You can see TSM saying I bought these for 500 gold a pop. I imagine they're a lot more expensive because I bought these 2 weeks before Mage Tower came back. So War Scrolls of Battle Shout, it's basically a mini warrior battle shout. War-Scroll of Fortitude, mini priest buff. Augment runes, you can use any augment rune, honestly. I think, at least, you can use Shadowlands, BFA, and Legion. Not sure about any other ones, but they all scale down to a 5 agility increase in the Mage Tower. I just used Shadow Core Oil, again, 2 of them because I had the Claws Ursak. Flask of the Currents is going to be your best flask. Not too expensive, I think. Oh, maybe it was, I'm not sure. I just used Steak a la mode, you know, Shadowlands first food. Not too expensive either. And then finally I just used Heavy Desolate Armor Kit. So, let's get into the Kruul kill now. Okay, so here's my Kruul kill. Just a reminder, it is pretty messy. I might pause a few times just to, go over some stuff. So here I'm just eating my food. Got a little bit of time before, Variss becomes active, so I'm just eating my food. I'm getting ready to use my Augment Rune. I'm using my Desolate Armor Kit. Using my Defiled Augment Rune from Legion. Got Variss targeted. I'm in Moonkin form, and I'm going to pop out of the wild right before he becomes active. Right into Storm Surge, putting up Sunfire, try to get into a Solar Eclipse. He casts Strain Life pretty fast. I do use my Target Interrupt macro, which I will put in the description. So, I spawned, I nailed it down. So, the eye's dead. Something to note now is, these portals are opening up, and the portals are opening up, the little nether horrors come out. As you can see, some of these aren't aggro to me yet, so something you can do to get them to aggro to you without attacking every single one is just use regrowth on yourself. I might do it here. Yeah, I'm using regrowth on myself a couple of times. I use Sunfire, I pop my trinket, the Ravaged Sea Pod. Use Moonfire on the thing. I get knocked back because I wasn't looking at him. Drain Life's going off, I just orb. Very poor orb choice, I could have just went in and interrupted, but it's okay. Infernal's up. Variss is a little over half health. Trying to kite the Infernal away because he takes damage when he walks. So I get knocked back. I get knocked back in a little wall, Goblin Glider regardless. Alright, here's a bit of a hairy situation. Drain Life's going off, I got all the ads on me. I orb, even though that guy was really low. So that was a bit of a poor ad management from me. Just, no ads up, just really trying to dump as much damage as I can into Variss. Use my Target Interrupt macro again. Could have thrashed there, but I just Moonfired instead. Again, just trying to damage Variss as much as possible. He's just over, 10%, he's a 7. Just trying to get him down. I don't want Kruul to come out during these Nether Horror ads. I pop my trinket, really hairy situation, I do orb. Again, another really poor orb management thing. So here, I believe I accidentally cast Berserk in phase 1. Again, user error. And so I didn't have Berserk, which is a really good cooldown for, Guardian. And I have a macro that you can see I clicked it. It just pops all my consumables and then uses Berserk. So ideally, you want to use that macro right as Kruul comes down. I do get knocked back. You get these little moving tripwire things across the screen, but you don't have any eyes anymore. So Annihilate goes off. I use Frenzied Regen. I interrupt Twisted Reflection. I'm really just trying to damage Kruul as much as I can. 20%. Really bad orb management again. Should have used it when they were going to cast Nether Storm, and now I gotta worry about interrupting them. He's going to cast Annihilate again, and I'm using a couple Iron Furs, and then a Frenzy Regen. Again, another poor orb, just the self-heal, really. Just trying to damage Kruul while doing all this stuff. I do use my seat again, and I am, getting really scared. I don't see any orbs up. I'm getting knocked around, I'm low health, don't have any stacks of Frenzied Regen, and I die. So he's you know, I'm like, oh my god, how could I do that? And I'm like gonna leave the instance group, and I cancel, and then I look at his health, and you know, he's really low. He's dead. So, you know, it is a cruel kill. Very messy. Died at the end. So, you know, this video is proof that you can make, you know, 8 billion mistakes, but still get the cruel kill. So, there's the, you know, ending animation. You know, I did it. So yeah, that was my very poor, cruel attempt, but regardless, it was successful. Thank you so much for watching, and, you know, good luck to all of you. And if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I've done this a few times. Yeah, just happy to help, and good luck on your fall wear, guys.